Here I have a base cabinet top from an IKEA cabinet that I used for my work table to use as my base for, excuse me, base for the camera rig. I want to have this swinging arm and I need something very sturdy. So this tabletop countertop will work great. So here I'm adding some painter's tape to give me a spot for the marker. I'm going corner to corner with a straight edge. This is a piece of aluminum extrusion. So I'm just going corner to corner with a slight offset for the thickness of the Sharpie. And then I'm switching it around and going corner to corner on the other corner. And that gives me my center point. Occurs to me maybe I should mute this. Yeah, there we go. So once I have my center point, I can put the mounting plate on, position it over the center point, and then using a spring-loaded center punch, I can mark all my mounting holes for the screws. The center punch gives you a small divot in your surface that allows for the center point of a drill bit to get positioned properly, so you're not trying to position a screw bit over a marker point. Here I have I bought a set of Forstner bits. I really wanted to try the Forstner bits. I don't have a drill press, so here I'm just using a standard drill because that's what you do when you don't have the proper tool. I'm hoping I'm going straight. I could have done something, I guess, but it doesn't really matter. This bit was a little bit bigger than my smooth rod, so I'll be adding some glue to hold it in place once I have everything sorted out. Now, I'm positioning the smooth rod inside the base in addition to the actual camera rig parts because I wanted to give an additional amount of stability to that smooth rod, because when that arm is spinning I wanted to make sure it was safe. So I changed the bit to a smaller bit for the wood inserts. I've got screw-in wood inserts for the machine screws, M5 machine screws. So I'm drilling these. So after I started to drill the first hole, I realized, oh, I actually kind of need to know how deep to drill this, because I don't want to, one, I don't want to drill all the way through, and two, I don't need to drill super deep into this tabletop. So I'm adding a small piece of, this is relatively speaking, small piece of tape for me to use as a depth gauge, so I know when to stop drilling. Forstner bits are really interesting because they essentially clear out material flat as opposed to drill bits that are much more pointed. There is that initial point obviously in a Forstner bit, but it's such an interesting drill bit. I had to buy them. I got them super cheap because our local Lowe's was closing its store and they had them on discount. Here I'm speeding all the drilling up because I was being very careful, trying to be very careful with these holes. And this poor shark vacuum is on its way out, but for the purposes of this, it does just fine. So I grabbed a ratchet, a socket wrench, because I realized that I needed to be able to apply quite a bit of force, and I wanted a lot of stability. And this is when I find out that my fingernails won't work when they're in rubber gloves. Why rubber gloves? Well, because I have hand tattoos, and I've had a number of comments on social media saying, hey, nice hand tattoos, jerk. So anyways, I avoid that problem by having rubber gloves. And you know, here's a little hammering in there. So I've sped this up because this is a real tedious production, but these wood inserts are interesting, which if you used heat set inserts for plastic, you know, it's the same concept. The wood inserts have a really wide threading. I probably could have added some carpenter's glue to this just for the sake of added stability, but I didn't. I like here I'm saying 3 times speed. You're welcome. Anytime that I was doing something repetitive and slow, I sped it up. Anyways, this is it. The next video will be me installing the plate and putting the arm on. And then I've done some tests, so you'll be able to see those tests. And that is that. Ready for assembly. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.